Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky, stormy weather since my man and I ain't together. Keeps raining all of the time.
So here we are for a nice full weekend at our summer residence. Oh, wait a minute. It's not the green place. It's the one next door, the pink one. This is our place over here, the pink one. Now, this is an original from 1958. It's Saturday, November 3rd. We're down here in Ocean City to do the cleanup for Hurricane Sandy. It came through here on Monday, November 29th. Now, our docks are in pretty good shape. Now, our neighbor's dock got caught up on the pilings, and their little dock and boats went under it and got stuck. That was a bit of a problem for them to fix. We got a lot of reeds up on the lawn. Now, we were able to watch this. I have webcams up in the house, so Jen and I were able to watch it on our iPads. And we can see that the morning high tide on Monday was really quite high, the highest I've ever seen. It washed a lot of reeds up on the lawn. So on a very full moon, the tide will often come over the bulkhead, but it doesn't bring a lot of grass up with it or anything. But it has never gone over top of these posts here that have the electrical connections on it. They're about 3 feet above the lawn here. They come up, the tide comes up maybe 6 inches to 8 inches in those posts. However, Monday morning, it covered the lower post. So that was actually the higher of the two tides, if you just look at the tide charts. But it brought a lot of reeds in. There were reeds all over the place as we were watching through the webcams. Now in the evening, when the high tide came in, that brought even more reeds with it. You can see them washed up into the gardens, and the water was up past that tree. The bad news came about 8 o'clock, which was when the high tide was, when the water actually met the water from the street. And we could see the reflection of our lamppost in the webcam. So you see the reflection in the water, which told us there was actually water out there. So we got on the order of about 1.5 inches into the outer end of the garage by the street, maybe 3/4 inch to an inch up towards the inner part of the garage. So we're watching through the webcam, and we see this yellow jacketed figure out on Dr. Hadkey's boat. We realize he's out there tying his boat up and making it all secure. And this is Monday, when the hurricane is really whipping things up pretty badly. We learned he had a 1/4 inch wetsuit on, but he's out here with this rope trying to tie things up so his boat will stay positioned properly so that his support posts won't bang holes in the side of the boat. So that was kind of entertaining to watch, and he succeeded, although he did get stuck on his boat because he got into it and then realized he couldn't get off safely, and he spent 9 hours on the boat during the height of the storm.
Of calm here. The gusts have just eased up for just a moment, but they look like they've been up pushing 90 or 100 miles an hour. Look down the street, Wolf, all the way down. You can probably see some street lights in the distance. That's the boardwalk, that's the ocean. Those are the casinos. Everything is shut down. Nobody's here who isn't an emergency worker, who isn't here because they've got to be, or isn't covering this thing.
When the flood comes, you have no home, you have no walls.
Now, when the tide came in, it covered every piling on the dock, covered the 2 electrical posts here, and that aqua piece of pipe was sticking up above the water as it was a high tide. So the water came up along the front of the house here, but really it sloshed a lot up maybe 9 inches to a foot. You can kind of see some marks on there. But luckily that's well away from the structure, the upper part of the house. It just got into the crawl space. So there were boards like this all over the lawn. I probably took 20 of these to the recycle center back on Thursday, and we've got maybe another 10 of them lying around the lawn. And you got to be careful because a lot of them have nails sticking out of them.
They just washed up.
They're from other people's docks that got ripped up. We're watching around 6 o'clock as dusk is coming, and we can see the water just starting to show up out in this area. But in the ensuing hour, as the high tide peaked, it brought a lot more water up onto the lawn, a couple inches above the grass. But it brought in a lot of people's recyclables. These Miller 64 cans, oh, this was full of something, have been all over the place. I picked up a ton of these on Thursday. I got to pick up some more. Then we got other recyclables and stuff. And all the reeds and stuff around here all need to be raked up and taken to the recycle center. Luckily, they're open till 6 o'clock, both today and tomorrow. Out here we have some rugs and mats that got saturated with salt water and lots of bizarre little marine life that started to smell rather foul. A few of the goodies we've taken out of the garage. We've got to get the rug out of the garage. It's getting a little bit foul too. And that means getting everything out of the garage completely. And there's a lot of stuff in there. I've spent 2 hours pulling this stuff out. And we still have the refrigerator and a couple of those little chests of small drawers, like file drawers, that are filled with all kinds of strange metal things. Down here on Wednesday afternoon when the police would finally allow people in, and found that in this room, somewhere like a quarter of an inch of water had come in. It was enough to soak all around the outer edges of the carpet.
It came in through this door.
Came in through the doorway. I don't think too much came in from the doorway out to the garage, because it wasn't very deep at the sill. But it was enough to make a mess out of the carpet and getting it smelling like aging marine life. So we took everything completely out of here, and either put it in the living room or put it out on the lawn on blocks so it wouldn't get on the wet grass. And then I washed everything out with Clorox water in buckets, probably about 20 buckets, so that's 40, 50 gallons of water. Sucked it up with a shop vac and then kept taking that out to the curb and emptying it. And then we've been drying it for the past few days with the windows open and that fan on. This is the laundry room or utility room. Now, we've had a lot of floods in here from the washing machine screwing up over the years, so water on this floor is not really a new issue. But this time it was salt water filled with weird microbes, okay? But the important thing is it didn't even get over these little feet on the bottom of the furnace, which luckily sits off the floor at half an inch or inch and a half anyway. And the same thing with the hot water heater here. It didn't even get above these little feet on the bottom. And on the washing machine, it's also got little plastic feet, and the water was only like a quarter of an inch or less and didn't get above them. So all the equipment that really could have been costly was perfectly fine in here. And that was a big relief. We just have to get rid of the smell of the little marine microbes that got washed in with the tide. So far I've spent about an hour and a half getting that stuff out of here, and I was actually amazed it only took that long, but we still have a lot of work to do here. Now, anybody who's seen this garage knows that, well, you can walk through here, that's about it usually. There's still a lot of things along the edge. We've got the refrigerator, we've got a box back there. Now, we had, down at the end of the garage, we had maybe 2.5, 3 inches of water. But as you get up to this end, it is luckily sloped. There was only about maybe 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch. Not enough to even get over the sill into the house. But the carpet is saturated with this lovely kind of rotting sea smell. So we've got to get rid of the carpet. And luckily the fridge is, all the equipment in it is high enough off that bottom, it didn't get damaged. Even those two other little refrigerators, the old little white one and brown one out there, they look like they're in pretty good shape too. I did have one compressor sitting near the garage door that got some salt water in it. It's not doing too well. So we're going to get the carpet out of here, get everything out of here. This is Clorox water in this bug sprayer here. We've got this another great big container of Clorox. We'll be washing everything out in here with the Clorox water and shop vacuuming it out and then leaving with a fan on, let it dry. And then we're going to go into the house too, and I got to spray that down with Clorox water. So my plan is to use one of these bug sprayers and mix up 8 ounces per gallon of Clorox water in the bug sprayer and soak everything down under the house to get that Clorox in to kill off all the marine microbes.
How are you going to get under the house?
Well, there's a crawl space entrance on the side of the house. There's one here too, but I'll use
You
both
think the
entrances.
seawater got in under the
Oh, it
house?
absolutely got into the crawl space. Oh, it was completely flooded in the crawl space. And it's like the flood isn't the problem. It's that all those marine microbes that got left behind. That's what I got to kill. And also to make sure no mold grows or any of that kind of stuff.
Hola, amigos y amigas. Estoy in Ocean City, New Jersey. Okay. It was nice to escape from New York because I've had no power since 8:34 p.m. when the lights went out Monday night. I've had to walk up 5 flights of steps every day, then try to get to work by hailing a cab. That was not easy because they zoomed right by. There were not enough buses. The subways weren't running. But finally, I got some rides. I took a bus Friday to Freehold, where Laurie picked me up. That wasn't easy either. Passed hundreds of cars in line for gas, and people lined up with canisters to fill up their gas cans. And now Edward has pressed me into service here, helping remove all this rubbish from our garage that Bob Boakes collected for 50 years. I'm having so much fun, but at least our house was not destroyed, so that we feel we were very lucky, more so than some other people at the Jersey Shore and elsewhere in New Jersey. Edward and Laurie are without power, but he's Mr. Fix-It and has generators and had gas cans already filled, and so he was prepared. I can't say that I was, although I did have flashlights and candles. So here we are, and we're going to clean up this mess.
So we had to take everything out of the den downstairs and move it up here. So the box spring and mattress from our bed are up here. The frame is up here. All our shoes from the floor that we normally keep under the bed, they're all up here. So we've made kind of a mess around the house, distributing all our stuff around. Now these are some emergency preparedness supplies it's good to have. These lights only cost like 19 bucks at Lowe's. They take 4D batteries, they'll flip up like that. And you can leave them in this nightlight mode so that if you're worried about the power outage coming, you can sit them around the house with the nightlight on. Nothing thing will run for weeks on these batteries. It doesn't run them down much. And then when you really do have an outage, this thing will run for like a day, like 24 hours before it runs the batteries down. So these are great, and they're cheap. So it's good to have a couple of them around. This little gizmo is a battery pack that'll charge your iPhone. So it plugs into a USB port and charges up, but then it provides a USB port, the bigger port here, so you can charge your BlackBerry or your iPhone like 2 or 3 times, and then we have some backup on your phone.
And where'd you get that, and what does it cost?
I bought it at Best Buy. It's called a Morphe Juice Pack. It was like $70. And they make bigger ones too if you want a slightly larger one. But I use this one like if I travel into New York City for the day and I'm sending pictures to people and my iPhone's going to run down, just keep it in my pocket and charge the phone up with it.
And Laurie's in here listening to reggae music.
Yes,
And,
Laurie's been doing lawn cleanup, but right now...
Yes, I raked all the stuff off the lawn. I have to go out and do more of that. And I just finished cleaning up after our first lovely breakfast.
We lost our power fairly early in the storm, but we're prepared. I've got a couple generators, and we went out on Friday and filled up 7 little gasoline tanks. So we had 14 gallons of gas, plus I got the boat full of gas, so I really wanted to suck it out of that. We filled all the cars up. And though some of my neighbors had generators, they didn't have gasoline for them. I had to help them siphon gas out of things. I had some tubing for that too. So we got people going in the neighborhood. But be prepared, have that gasoline in safe containers that don't leak fumes. Get a generator like a Honda U2000 and wire it in properly to your house and safely so you can hook it up safely. Now, these aren't exactly light. This is the mattress and box spring from downstairs, and we had to get them up here so I could do all the washing out of the room downstairs. This one I actually carried up myself, and probably weighs like 150 pounds, and it's clumsy, you know. This one's even heavier, but luckily Jack Gillian helped me carry it in here, so it wasn't too bad. Now at home, we didn't have any water in the house, luckily, or any damage to the house itself, but we do have a 70-foot oak tree across the front lawn, and into my neighbor's driveway. And my neighbor on each side also had a 70-foot oak tree fall, and one of them actually went into the house and smashed a dormer in some windows, so she's kind of in worse shape. So some other neighbors came over with their chainsaws and helped trim off the tree that was extending into the neighbor's driveway so they could get their cars out of the garage, so everything's okay there. But we still don't have power. This is Saturday, November 3rd. The storm hit back on the 29th, and we still don't have power at my house in Middletown or anybody in my neighborhood. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of my neighbors have generators, and I've helped them wire them in safely so they can run their furnaces and refrigerators and everything. So we're not doing too badly, but, you know, no electricity, no cable, no landline telephone service. Luckily, the cellular service has come back on, though it was out for a couple days, too.
November 2nd. I've arrived in Middletown, New Jersey, and this is what greets you once you get to Ed and Laurie's neighborhood. Down power lines around here, trees in people's front yards, blocking the roads, more dangling power lines. Laurie's neighbors. And here we are coming upon Edward and Laurie Bogue's house that had a couple nice big trees in the front yard, except that now one of the giant trees has fallen over and it went into the neighbor's driveway and blocked the driveway until they cut the limbs. But at least it didn't do this. Land on top of the house and smash a few windows. Ah, the dulcet tones of the generators. Nobody has power in this area of Middletown, New Jersey. Rose bush blown over. Edward's generator seems to have stopped. This may not be good. I've had no power now for a week. My computer is dead. So is my cell phone and BlackBerry. I was hoping to charge things.
It's working!
Yeah, this is how we get our power around here. We are at the gas station.
That's right, for our generator.
We loaded one and put this in the car. We're loading up our own self-sustained power system.
We had to wait till we got south in New Jersey so we could go to a gas station where there were no lines at, 9:30 at night.
Yes. Isn't this amazing? There's no line. But we're in the eye of the storm.